call box with a matrix of push. An off-key melody starts playing after you ring.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time.
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Pardon? This is not cool. Please just stop calling.
A single beep indicates that the line. You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks up. You ring the doorbell. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You ring the doorbell, but nothing. You wait for a minute or two, but looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore. You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if...
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electrics. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanged.
It's you. My...
Who cares that you don't remember her? No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she...
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally forget.
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore. Another seagull passes by.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. No, hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions. Forget it. Find something else to do. Silence. No one's home at Fortress Exit. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers your call. This button looks new, but someone has removed.
This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet. What do you... Good.
The worn and beat...
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder.
There are clothes inside. cheap second-hand.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't buy new things. Very cool.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird poly.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
No good. All you can come up with are some treated wool pants. You can tell they're too tight around your thighs and too loose around the waist. They itch like hell. Like an itch pit.
All natural materials, see? Real wool, 100% skin friendly, and they're yours for only $2.
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves basically, perched atop them like conquerors surveying the land. A pair of...
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer.
A pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossibly sleek and simple. A futuristic silhouette with a sleek monochrome.
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Faun sneakers. Super Air, super fun.
Only Faun Ultra. Wear the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine. These once respectable speakers have been conquered. Reduced to a mere...
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stuff. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage. I'm ashamed to even use them for props. Don't waste your time on them.
Samaran trash. That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. Well, if you want, but see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the sneakers...
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first. There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small box.
You like sunglasses, officer?
Abort. These are hideous. What's more, they don't even fit your face.
Damn, officer! You look like a mega secret spy! Very...
No, you are definitely not buying those.
Are you sure? But they look so good!
These are all boring. Boring third-rate. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses...
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool. UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool. Oh, very interesting choice, officer. Very high...
This is how a sea monster sees the world. You've become a sea monster. Giant, yes. But they also make your soul quiver like gel.
Wow, officer. You look so cool. And they can be yours for a mere 3 real. My regular customer.
You look like a musician. Like a blind musician. But you could do worse. Take them if you want.
This Post Lavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A close... The box seems happy.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like...
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to...
A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved. My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know? Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns... Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous...
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling.
Kind of you to offer, sir.
What could you do to help her anyway?
Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people... Mum says it's necessary to do both, because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is due to... Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being...
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and...
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far. They shouldn't be, but they seem real. Anyhow, they say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. Of course, sir. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve it. And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guy... You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She looks at Dick Mullen. Dark, arrogant, violent. He isn't even drawn right. She examines the picture, trying to find whatever is wrong with it. She then...
Sure you can, sir. He's just a fictional character. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages. People sad. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nope. Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more... Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I'm sure she can help out. Anything? Maybe some about other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous. Why would they do that, sir? That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. Standing over a dead body, holding a gun. No, sir, I can't. It would be too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. It's nice of you to say I could stop, though. That's a friendly enough face, most of the time.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going. She looks around anxiously. Her hands The lieutenant stands, a facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly...
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit.
I sure hope you are, sir.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by There's something you're missing. Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, apologising to everyone. I don't really understand what you've done wrong. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. No, you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes on, he thinks.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the time, rows and rows of Yamdala men blur your vision. You make out some time, maybe 100. Man from Heimdall and the sages at the end of the world. Not even close. Man from Heimdall in hell. Man from Heimdall and the forest of slaves. Man from Heimdall.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grow. What does it matter? They're all the same. However, the customer is always right. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallaman, the Man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background pain rate. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken. An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes that price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological harsh. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's funeral pyre. Yes, there's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The more tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And come on, this is not the way real police solve crimes.
Again? Man, I tell that one at least once a month. It's not that. Yeah, sure came close. Alright, so I was tailing this guy called Francis the Shoe.
After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
Oh, crime, robberies, murders. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these.
Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen, a worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the Huron. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Four. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is, north of Jamrock, the strip of... No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have, but it's still something. Streets. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is Klэyu. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozon, Laurentide, Fas à la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Klэyu in a bookstore. It's you. You can, on Klэyu, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vimandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, lost little pearls of light, tiny fires. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever, perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust. It's not really a map, it's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling...
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of that old thing? It's an out-of-date map of it from when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated...
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap.
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. These three things are very important. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is garbage, and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance. When it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for... The book contains descriptions of various pseudo-scientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk... For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch. It is, and good for the circulation. It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pail. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside them. Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings put there? For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale. Though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the new. This is exactly what you need. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my...
The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's a very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system. Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary.
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of... Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a run-down drug den.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free.
She understands she has erred against the customer.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Welcome to Be welcome, and please take responsibility.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck, in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
Oh yes, helps to have an anchor in these times. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
Cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has...
What in God's name is she? Doesn't feel like it's thriving. Feels ghostly.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her... Wonderful! Did you talk to her? Great! On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on...
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. God! I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit.
A part of hers too, clearly.
She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
This is a person coming to terms with a new reality. She's looking for one, but there simply aren't any.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologise. There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind.
It sounds like both the husband and the mother treat her the way she treats Annette. Yes, sometimes it's better to let people come to these conclusions themselves.
She's been too busy helping me here, so she studied at home this trimester. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education.
And hell freezes over? Never mind. It's not a good topic to get into.
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more children, really. We're quite busy people, you know, my husband and I. Quite busy. Children are a lot... I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne. It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead. He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call...
Super silent. Almost inaudibly so. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees.
She's right. Those curtains give off some eerie vibes. Better not mess with it. You see some kind of charm. An irregular polyhedron assembled from bones. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands down south. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled?
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put us. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alert. Be wary of those mysterious ornaments from the Dark Isles. Do you realize what's out there? Upon the mist-shrouded islands of Ile de Fantôme in Seminine, eerie pygmies and wild shamans practicing unnatural mysticism. Not so. You sense their strange magics, cast from the dark forest they writhe around in. Don't believe it? Go ahead, straight through the curtains. Suffer the consequence. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice...
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequence. No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I am sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away. Thank you. Let's just talk about this first, all right? There's no...
Talking is always good. There is something mysterious about the curtains. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
What about me? Good. Let's change the subject.
Evening, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fought.
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating his salami.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and grey overalls waving at you.
Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you, officer? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird.
The words, Daredevil.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything round here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Sure thing. Want some too, officer?
Why not?
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle, this panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon butter sign. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez. With direct, your finger moves through the various streets, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently.
It's not often that I see officers of the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector. just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't.
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travellers, people. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to. It keeps me entertained.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing. This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. With Kim here too. That just sounded... He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to... The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this has got to be the most. There's pity there too, in case you didn't notice.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running...
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow. Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it, and many other things besides. But you can't cut through the jumble of sensation. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give a guarded man like him wouldn't tell you if you asked out loud. A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved and well traveled. Chipped. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic book. This is you. Golden orange. Like a beach party, with sand and sun and seagulls dancing on the breeze. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, buy something nice, a figurine. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that...
Franco-Nigerian knight. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are... This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. He seems to have his own take on the conflict played out in perpetuity by these toys. Might be interesting to find out what it is. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say...
Hello again. How can I help you?
Fuck this pig! Do you have any idea? Kuno's cruising his bitch on the town, and the bitch comes back griefing to...
Get the fuck out of here, fat ass! Those pants are too small for you.
Yeah, like a fucking volcano.
You're lucky you didn't die there.
Yeah, Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like 80, right?
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied. That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Kuno Kuno doesn't...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Stay away from me, pig. Before I squeal, pig. You don't want to fuck with me. I got...
You can still see the top of her hat.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno does...
The worker is in a deep slumber.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. No, I don't have a key. I don't... Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not.
Fine, okay. So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place up. Yes?
You see a heavy steel. The door does not budge.
Hello again, sweet.
The door is closed. There is no answer. A tremendous loneliness comes over you. Everybody in the world is doing something without you. The door is indifferent to your loneliness. The world does not. Still no answer.
Yes, have you got it? A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and... Yes?
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses. Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think. Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess, scared maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But these scabs ain't begging. They ain't holding on to their integrity. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here, to the wild north? Come to see the strife?
If it's so simple, why did the scab leader warn you of the guards blocking the way? He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization. The coin narrowly slips by your out. Lieutenant Kitsuragi picks up the coin and hands it to you.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make...
Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He shrinks back a bit under...
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Not until you bring me the...
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me? Game? Everything is just a game to you, isn't it? Not until you...
Okay.
I really did...
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Yes. Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed? Evidence being money. You can't stay here without money. Not until you...
Okay.
I really...
Oh, Lieutenant.
What do you want to know? You mean like a brief? Do you want me to brief? There's no reason. 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute. Okay then. Was there anything else you want? No, it's not a particularly mysterious case. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. I'm relieved that you agree.
He is glad and surprised to see an officer who can appreciate the less than spectacular.
Do you know the feeling when you've begun filling in a crossword, but some of your answers don't quite seem to fit? That's the feeling. It will turn into quite the puzzle yet, I'm afraid. Good. Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've misplaced your bag. That's good. Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. Please do. We wouldn't want your regime.
The lieutenant is pretty sure self-care is just a euphemism for...
What about me? No. Good. Let's change the subject.
He's having trouble processing it, believing it even. Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are...
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by... There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
A vanity he wouldn't mind.
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you? The pawn shop is always open.
Nope, still no clue. You obviously haven't...
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and...
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you. Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him. To compensate for the pain of being separated, the windfall is a small consolation. inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. There it is. You see a shabby little door. Be still, my beating heart. The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you. There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use. Professionally, I mean.
Of course, detective. Swift justice.
Yeah, swift.
See that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing. Man down. A trooper has been left. You could swear it's more of an instinct than an actual sight. But you know, there's the RCM signature rectangle on the...
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM in... You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day. What are we doing? We're awfully close to breaking into the industrial harbor. They are bound to have information for us. Or it could be that we are just exploring.
He's thinking you've forgotten where you are again. The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer-like interest and the wonder of a 6-year-old.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. It's certainly an impressive achievement, but I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer...
Yes, we were in the middle of something. Your cloak. The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should... Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meter stops. Whenever you're...
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets may hide? The ammonia only makes it worse. The combination forces tears out of your duct. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears. The weight is reassuring, like a...
You're facing tough odds here. It's aggravated further by alcohol withdrawal. I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there if you didn't bag the thing tight enough. I think I've lost my sense of smell.
A white lie.
Not being hungover helps too. No. This is a two-man assignment because you need to get your shit together. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad. Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Fuck does You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How the fuck did you get in? Pig, that's the past. You and Kuno are now. Let's talk about how you opened the secret door. Shit. Get the fuck...
You can't do that, Kuno. You're trying to fuck...
How did you like it in there, pig, old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit. Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. Yeah, to the both of you, watch your ass in Kuno's town. Or Kuno... That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno shiz...
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could...
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube of...
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything.
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
Is it? You got pretty fucked. Kuno's surprised you've still got your head. Don't sweat it, drunk pig. Kuno will keep your nasty secret.
Yeah, that conclusively explains how the coke got up there.
Course you fucking can. How do you think Kuno made all the docky boys his gimps? Just gotta fly, pig. Not everyone can fly like Kuno. You're old. You'll never make it. Moose piss has made you...
Moose piss is probably... That's all there is to it then. Don't be a pansy. Just jump.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Kuno doesn't...
I'll die before I... What's this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than...
Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really...
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real.
I'll take...
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as...
The worker is in a deep slump. This is the door.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss... Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fine. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request record. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station coldly. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself...
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in the watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courant and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Ravachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away.
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline.
Something kind and you, something almost, something ominous.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism, the moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me. Do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez, most of them at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
He would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
As for the interview, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
This soldier is the highlight of the day for me.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat. As he rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the street. Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes, you know. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Volumetric ship compressor. bed is cold and not particularly inviting. This fan has 2 chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny fan, or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend and wants to reattach itself to your neck so that you may continue your adventures together. This fan has, or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend and wants to reattach itself to your neck so that you may continue your adventures together in this The switch must be broken because nothing. The lights are on. The lights are off again. The bed is cold. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close. And then sleep doesn't come. And then, sleep doesn't come. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to... Something to do with... What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images.
Of your childhood. You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs and in her mouth? Oh no, funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. While you just stood there, tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times you failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The out. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you've failed every single one of them. No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time.
Stinky boy.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you.
Something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad. This dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't, it's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday. You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. This fan has or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend and wants to reattach itself. You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and who knows what you are? A monster, a murderer, the gnome of Jeroma? How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a hole, or you could not do that. No one is making you. Good. Thinking. And when you're done thinking about, plus, smoking them gives massive bonus.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. A lot of things point to the dock workers' union. The circumstances in Martinez, that's not a lot of things. We should have dug up more yesterday. Still, we need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's that one loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the debarders. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Good. A power move. Purpose. But aren't you curious to know what they...
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is my...
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
Yes, extremely normal. I'm not a gardener, by the way. I'm a legal counsel, so let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming.
It doesn't matter if you recognize...
She says nothing. Her glare speaks.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head, you will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence.
Just dock workers? Do dock workers spy on the police? We let you off easy, man.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob. Enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards. So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Let's.
This is where you say your bit.
He's used to giving orders and having them obeyed immediately.
Detective.
Precinct 57's finest scans the room, leaving the speaking to you. He trusts you. Maybe against his better judgment, but he does.
Oh, this is about him.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get right.
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out...
Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them.
You might want to start asking your questions.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them.
The pretty boy. You got...
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Well, maybe you should just
Don't worry. We are resourceful. We'll find a good topic for us to discuss.
No. Us here.
He understood what you were doing, taking inventory of them. Now watch the other guys fuck it up by falling out of line.
Yeah! You fuck with the Hardy boys, you fuck with Titus Hardy!
Yes, falling out of line to please him. Use it to take a dig at his friend. Floodgates open.
Yeah, Dennis, calm down. No one's fucking you, you stupid fuck.
Let Dennis enjoy his fucking, man. We don't mind.
This one knows how to keep things going. He's a hothead, but not one to be taken lightly. The last one is a bit of a black sheep.
Yeah, you're not even being fucked, Dennis.
Easy, fellas. We got company. Let's see what brings the...
Too late. You already got a pretty good picture of these guys. You can use this.
Fucking say something already!
Incriminating. Now that's a big boy word. Well, maybe you should...
Don't worry. We are resourceful. We'll find a good topic for us to discuss.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
and they're...
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry.
It's fine, I understand. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make it. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. The manager was vague about it. To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still... I was also hoping she'd heard...
You hear that? Someone's missing. There could be foul play afoot. That's right. Now skip the foreplay. Time to dive into the dark alleys. Start doing some good will alleviate the hangover. At least you're of use to someone.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all, but you have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday.
The water lock, that was broken. Could this be it?
Oh, sweetie, Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life. Oh my, what happened to the water lock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful to both of you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with... Yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly what you need right now.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, dear. I'm not... Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but...
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white...
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's... We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numeric via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get... We hit it off, and... Well, here we are. I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, but I should...
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a
Ah, yes, Phasmatodea, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises, hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officer.
To be honest, this animal sounds like a cryptid. You wouldn't happen...
I smell pseudoscience.
It's simply elusive.
Establishment. I thought so.
Not at all. Why else would it hide itself? Well, some teenagers making out in the reed saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost. Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched... Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all the... Oh, dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you... Oh, yes. A zoologist.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beings.
That's one opinion, yes.
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. One special. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and...
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own. There's really no point in manipulating anyone.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told...
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Cryptids. Let's hear about... Ooh, tough choice there.
That would be the giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across a mirage or a psychogenous luminous. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana.
Hui. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the...
Great. This is great shit. Gravity anomaly? Digging it. Digging this parascientific stuff right here.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
Something in it.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the smallest cryptid is the Cryobacter catlensis, a unicellular bacterium. It was discovered in the bacterial colony Mijanu found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone. Mijanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study. No doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial.
It's actually a little hard to see, but...
Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly accepted. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now. All alone except for the gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding fork. A couple of campers found it when it was already... It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, yes. It's the kind green ape, half war story, half undiscovered species in the Ghana. Yes, it was reported by soldiers in South Safra during the war. The kind green, yes, it has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs, regaining their sight. Indeed, there is. It's our closest relative among the cryptids. Same taxonomy, which is to say the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor and that evolved parallel to our own, just like your partners.
Ma'am, you are confusing me.
Please don't misunderstand me, either of you. human as it is used in everyday speech is hot, though zeolites do have some distinguishing characteristics.
Yes, advantages such as the flakier texture of zeolite earwax, or so I've heard. Nothing inspires pride in one species quite like speculative evolution.
What an interesting question.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them. Okay, I won't spoil you.
It's the Col de Mama d'Aqua. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely...
Col de Mama d'Aqua can also be translated as a whisper.
Yes, that's another translation. Although the low part is a little ironic. The Col de Mama d'Aqua makes, or rather is...
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits. It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 1920s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who studied, when playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed the scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic...
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident...
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mama d'Aqua, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said they grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish sequester, time, joscan. Those are but some of the Mama d'Aqua they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with, they tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match.
This lady really should be a teacher. Psst. They cancel each other out.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right...
Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but...
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance.
I'm glad you did, dear. What about what? I'm glad you like them. But I'm not really one to tell you about all...
Was that? Could it be the Col de Mama d'Aqua? No, it's probably just your... There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena also said that it couldn't be heard by any other animal, including humans. What you're hearing must just be a regular bird. Oh no. The sound. No. Too late. It's gone. Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're
Is this about...
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Dramamine is a really good painkiller. Magnesium, I don't really know what hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended. No, sorry. I'm not like a doctor or... Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
A colourful display of...
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Yeah, Measurehead.
His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger, because you are not a threat to me. That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al Ghul. You are but a vessel. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving order.
Show him the hand still got it. Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Look at my craniology. I am the pinnacle of my haplogroup. The pink blob is a bad example, even of yours. It saddened me. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. You will be superseded.
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
Enough with this begging. You should bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the oaths.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Meshahed's race theory. He would take you as one of his own. The best idea. Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your... There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pit. Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Mao, of course. The Mao are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose. A receding genetic pool has led the Mao on reprehensible street parades in Mao cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the Golden Pisant, the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminese and the Areopagite are on the ascent. the indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern island.
Nature was not capable of more.
People they are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the great race.
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
Yes, to an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a hands-on witch. But look into their eyes and you will see. The Khoiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with Potard. The only thing...
Wouldn't he be one for ethno-states?
They are microscopic. The Semino-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary crew. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Simonese and Areopagite stock, elected by nature. Not the base, the Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the Racial Colbron. Two makes to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over, like a fever dream of skin, hair, and bone. Wake up, naive Chespius. The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zaraz-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia, a hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoiko enough of type mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a... The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have misunderstood.
The sage will not budge on this.
Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino Koiki Chimera? The Khoiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have toyed with the idea of crossing the Simonese with the Khoikhoi. This will never happen. The Simonese and the Khoikhoi may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Simonese, but enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Topsef. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic...
He had nothing to do with it.
I am not the first line of defense.
You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him. He is usually more himself.
Fine. They have recently fallen. Find out for yourself.
Interesting.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenology. You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability. From a purely, it is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al-Hul. From what remain of this leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal, an offspring of murderers and sailors from Sur la Clé. Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Revacholians.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober.
Oh, don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however.
Mr. Claire is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital. Something also to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate offshoots of the Simonese people invented disco while having sex. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the South Island race. Haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of We Are the Future. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Lumbuir are with... No.
He would be appreciative if you did not further chase this line of inquiry in front of the women.
You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal? reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. I knew we could trust you. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real...
Hola, Wandering Man. How can...
The woman still had nothing. Her smile just keeps widening.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty, with your hands at your side.
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Delicate and fragile. They feel alien to the world around you. These are clearly not boots. They're armor. Possibly part of a lot.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be. Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's Vitrio. Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know. No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirt we found.
Nice. That makes sense.
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre. The...
Fucking talking about underpants.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabulary is for a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted.
By catching, do you mean let's not log them as evidence? Let's steal them?
What was that about the constabulatory before? You need to push some buttons if you want to recruit the lieutenant in it.
Of course. That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor. Just something I scraped together from my station. An area report.
He's not actually sure of that. He's just being tactful.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford. It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate. Dissipate.
Like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by height. If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabot. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination, E50, 100.
Good. Can you read it to me? We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure?
Stop! Pig's gonna pull his head.
Brutal!
You're about to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Yes, that's what I said. You'll compromise the coroner's case if...
Indeed. From this angle, it does look like the neck isn't going to take much more.
What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot? How many clues do you need? You already found a number. There's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boots. Their processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing. But we must speak.
This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships.
Airlifting? I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You?
No. You feel like it was something else.
Yes, it often is. This bell worries me. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. His corpse is marked by stars, alcohol, and heartbreak.
I have only a cursive knowledge of the science of cybernetics. I would not know if it were. But it's not quite complex enough, is it? I agree.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open.
A Trigger Sunshine.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices.
Shit, Kuno!
An instant color camera.
This is the first time he openly acknowledges.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy...
In case we need it.